Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Speak Storytime channel. On this channel, I provide lots of tips, tricks, stories, and interesting English podcasts that can help improve your listening and speaking skills in English. Today, we're starting something special for our beginner English learners. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that I am sharing this material with you for free. I hope you can support me by liking and commenting after watching this video for about 3 minutes. Your feedback is important to me and helps me improve. Thank you for your support and comments. Great, let's begin.
Hello everyone, welcome to Easy English for Beginners. I'm your host Jane, and joining me today is the ever so knowledgeable Mr. Han. Say hello, Mr. Han.
Hello, Jane, and a big hello to all our listeners. I'm thrilled to be here.
Today we're diving into the basics of English speaking. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refresh your skills, we've got you covered. Mr. Han, why do you think learning English is important?
Great question, Jane. English is a global language. It helps people from different countries communicate. Whether it's for travel, business, or making new friends, English is key.
Exactly, so let's start with greetings. Mr. Han, how do we say hello in English?
Well, hello is the most common greeting. You can also say hi for a more casual hello. In the morning, you might say good morning.
That's right. And if you meet someone for the first time,
then you can say nice to meet you. And if you're meeting a friend, you might ask, how are you?
And how should one respond to that?
You can say, I'm fine, thank you. And it's polite to ask the question back.
Politeness is important in English. What about saying goodbye?
Goodbye works well. For a casual farewell, bye or see you are perfect.
Great. Now let's talk about asking for help. Mr. Han, how should our listeners ask for help in English?
If you need assistance, you can say, can you help me please? It's simple and very polite.
And if someone wants to know where something is,
just add where is to your question. Like, where is the bus station, please?
Excellent. Making friends is another reason to learn English. How can our listeners start a conversation?
Starting with a smile, you could say like, hi, my name is Han. What's your name? It's a friendly way to begin talking.
And if you want to learn more about someone,
ask simple questions like, where are you from? Or what do you like to do? It shows interest in the other person.
These are fantastic tips, Mr. Han. Remember, practice makes perfect. Try using these phrases in your daily life.
Absolutely, Jane. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is a step towards improvement.
Let's start with ordering food at a restaurant. What's a simple way to do this?
The basic way to order is by saying, I would like, followed by what you want to order. For example, I would like a pizza, please.
And if you need to ask if something is in the dish,
you can ask, does this have, followed by the ingredient. Like, does this have nuts in it?
Very useful for allergies. Now, how about asking for directions?
If you're lost, you can say, excuse me, how do I get to, followed by the place you're looking for. For instance, excuse me, how do I get to the museum?
Great. And if someone is going shopping,
if you're looking for a specific item, you might say, where can I find, for example, where can I find shoes?
Shopping in English can be fun. Now, let's touch on making appointments.
To make an appointment, you could say, I'd like to make an appointment for, and then specify the service and time. Like, I'd like to make an appointment for a haircut on Saturday.
Perfect. Lastly, let's cover a bit about handling emergencies.
In an emergency, it's important to know phrases like help or I need a doctor. But let's hope you never have to use them.
Definitely. Mr. Han, any final tips for our listeners?
Practice, practice, practice. Try to use English in your everyday life. And remember, it's okay to ask people to repeat themselves or speak slower. Most people are happy to help.
We're going to talk about daily activities and the English we use to describe them. Mr. Han, what's a typical day like for most people?
Well, Jane, most days start with waking up, of course. So you might say, I wake up at 7 in the morning.
Right. And after waking up?
After waking up, many people say, I brush my teeth and take a shower. It's important to mention both activities.
Breakfast is next, isn't it? How can our listeners talk about their breakfast?
Yes, for breakfast, you might say, I have eggs and toast for breakfast. Or simply, I eat breakfast at 8 o'clock.
And then it's probably time to go to work or school. How do we say that in English?
You can say, I go to work at 9 in the morning. Or, if you're a student, I go to school.
What about in the evening? How do we talk about what we do then?
In the evening, you might say, I have dinner with my family. Or, I watch TV before bed.
Speaking of bed, how do we end our day in English?
To end the day, you could say, I go to bed at 10 p.m. It's simple and clear.
Perfect. It's also important to be able to ask others about their day. How can we do that?
You can ask, how was your day? Or what did you do today? Both are great ways to show interest in someone's life.
And if someone asks us,
just use the phrases we practiced. Like, my day was good. I went to work and then watched a movie in the evening.
that sounds like a lovely day. Remember, practicing these sentences will help you feel more comfortable speaking English every day.
Exactly, Jane. And don't worry about being perfect. It's about communication, not perfection.
How are you feeling about our shopping trip today, Mr. Han?
Very excited, Jane. Shopping is a part of everyday life, and knowing how to talk about it in English can be very useful for our listeners.
Absolutely, Mr. Han. Let's start with entering the store. What's something polite we can say to the staff?
When you enter, it's nice to greet them with hello or good morning, afternoon. If they greet you first, you can simply reply with, hi, how are you?
Politeness goes a long way. Now, if we're looking for something specific, how do we ask for help?
You can say, excuse me, where can I find the shoes, or whatever item you're looking for. Remember to add please to make it polite.
Great tip, Mr. Han. And if we want to know the price of something,
Just ask, how much is this, while holding the item or pointing to it. It's a simple and effective way to inquire about the price.
shopping often involves making decisions. What if we're undecided and want to think it over?
In that case, you can say, I'll think about it. It's a good way to give yourself some time to decide without feeling rushed.
Sometimes we might not find what we're looking for. How can we express this?
You could say, I'm just looking, thank you. It lets the staff know you're browsing without needing further assistance at the moment.
And finally, when we're ready to make a purchase, what should we say?
When you're at the checkout, you can simply say, I'd like to buy this, please. It's straightforward and clear.
After paying, it's nice to end on a polite note. How do we do that?
You can say, thank you, or thank you for your help. It's a nice way to show appreciation for the service.
That wraps up our trip to the store. Mr. Han, any final tips for our shopping adventurers?
Just remember, being polite and patient goes a long way in any shopping experience. And don't be afraid to practice your English.
Dining out is a wonderful experience, but can be intimidating if you're not confident in your English. Let's simplify it. Mr. Han, we're at a restaurant. What's the first thing we do?
Well, Jane, first you might need a table. So you'd say, table for two, please, if it's you and another person. Adjust the number as needed.
Got it. And if we want to see what dishes are available,
You'll ask for the menu by saying, can I have the menu, please? Once you've got it, take your time to look through the options.
choosing a dish can be tough. How do we order once we've decided?
Simply catch the waiter's attention and say, I'd like to order now. Then state what you want, for example. I'll have the grilled chicken, please.
What if someone has dietary restrictions or preferences?
They should mention it while ordering. For instance, I'm vegetarian. Do you have any vegetarian dishes? It's important to communicate this clearly.
And let's not forget about drinks. How do we ask for water or something else to drink?
You can say, could I have some water, please? Or, what drinks do you have? To inquire about the options.
Excellent. Now, imagine we've finished our meal. How do we ask for the bill?
A polite way to ask is, "Could we have the bill, please?" or "Check, please," if you're in the U.S.
That's a good distinction. And if we want to compliment the meal,
You can say, "The meal was delicious, thank you." It's nice to show appreciation.
absolutely, Mr. Han. Any parting advice for our listeners about dining out in English?
Just relax and enjoy the experience. Don't be afraid to practice your English. The more you use it, the more comfortable you'll become.